Hey there, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan. We're looking at a 2008 Suzuki Jimny Sierra Land Venture. So otherwise the continuation of what used to be the Samurai sold in North America. This vehicle was bought from auction here in Japan. We're going to be inspecting it quickly and then sending it over to import into Canada, where I come from. This one has 74,000 original kilometers on it. Overall is in very good condition. These Jimnys are popular all around the world. Very effective as a 4x4 because of the very short wheelbase and the lightweight. Lots of modifications available if you want to lift it. Otherwise, you can drive it stock and it's a cool little economical runaround. Here you can see 74,904 kilometers at the time of shooting this. And for the rest of the report, I'll just turn the engine off. Now it's a twin cam 1.3 liter. I don't know the exact power rating, but it's probably somewhere in the range of about 105 or 102, somewhere around there. The title card will tell you the exact power on it. It doesn't seem to have any issues other than a little bit of seeping of oil from the valve cover gasket. You can see here it's nothing that would be in need of replacing. That's fairly normal. Okay, the coolant looks fine, the oil looks fine, there's nothing else really to say about this, it's just fine. Now this is the 1.3 liter version. The vehicle is also available, I just noticed something broken, 1 second please. That clip is no longer able to hold up the hood prop. Yes, anyways, in Japan you can get this as a K vehicle, or you can get this as a non-K vehicle. The K vehicle version of it aesthetically looks a little bit different. The bumpers are shorter. It doesn't have the over fenders. And it comes with a 0.7 liter engine or a 0.66 liter engine with maximum 64 horsepower and a tiny little turbo on it. If you wanted more power and a little bit different looks with the over fenders on there, you can get the Sierra version, which was not very popular when it was new, because it doesn't qualify for your very cheap registration here in Japan. But if you wanted that extra power, the 1.3 liter engine probably puts out another 30 to 40% power over the K car version of it. Now, when you're buying these used, especially for export, it doesn't really matter if you get the K car version or not, because fuel economy is, not that far off. Also, 1.3 liter is not going to be bad fuel economy by any means. But you don't have to deal with the registration costs. Here in Japan, a K car gets you really cheap registration, whereas this would be more expensive. And as a result, the Sierra versions, even despite having a bigger engine, tend to be a little bit cheaper in cost. So it can save you a little bit there. Now let's go over the auction inspection sheet here. It's a 2008 Jimny Sierra. This is the Land Venture version, which I believe is just a trim version. It probably has things like heated windshield. It actually has a heated seat. I think it comes with these half leather seats and then floor mats and other things like that. Jimny has a number of special versions that you could get. None of them particularly special, at least for this generation. Earlier ones had convertibles available and a high roof version with little windows up here that was pretty cool. And yeah, the Land Venture, pretty much a normal Jimny. You don't pay anything extra for this one, if that's what you're thinking. 1.3 liter engine, auction grade 3.5. Of course, four-wheel drive, they all are. They're also switchable between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and they have a low gear ratio. So if you're going to be doing something like climbing and you're worried about the power of the engine, that low gear ratio gives you a lot of power available with the shortened gear ratios. So the sales point here says it's a limited edition Land Venture version with aftermarket Navi, half leather seats, four-wheel drive, and basically that's all of the things that the seller wrote. The inspector at the auction said the windshield is scratched and rock chip. Now, usually I don't take a look for rock chips because they're itty bitty. Like we're talking 1/4 of a millimeter often. And it's pretty hard to find sometimes, so I don't really worry about it too much. And then interior scratch, dirty, wear, and rip. Interior rip, that's odd. I didn't find an interior rip in the interior of this one. I'll have a quick little look here. Now, interior rip is probably not going to be on the door card. That's gone loose. Usually it's going to be on the seat, but this seat doesn't have any rips. Maybe down here. And then, I don't know, I can't find a rip anywhere. That's just a worn section in the seat. I'm going to say no rips in the interior. Actually, my take on the interior of this one's quite nice indeed. It's nice and low mileage, 74,000. Interior is nice and clean, and exterior is clean. And I think that they were a little bit picky on the inspection here as well. I would think that the vehicles may be worthy of a grade 4B potentially. Certainly the A2 on the bumper, mid-level scratch, is a little bit worse. I mean, better in real life than you would think given the A2 grade. So spare tire cover has one section missing. That's true. Door mirrors scratched and cracked. That's true. The right side has a crack in it and various scratches and dents. So now that we've seen this sheet, of course it has AC as well. All vehicles in Japan have AC pretty much. Let's do a walk around. And yeah, this thing is very small. Smaller than the new Minis, for certain. Of course, bigger than the old Minis. Wheelbase that is only that big. And although the tires are small, you can put bigger tires on if you need the capability of climbing. So these things are rugged and dependable, and they've been making them for a long time, so Suzuki knows how to make them. This is one of their bread and butter vehicles, and their maybe best known vehicle around the world. Probably this. What else does Suzuki make other than this? The Vitara wasn't really a thing here. And then they're pretty much known for K cars here in Japan, like the Alto Works or the Cappuccino or other vehicles like that. But still, I think the Jimny, the most popular and the most loved and cherished of all of the vehicles that Suzuki makes. And every generation is good. These ones here used to be a little bit cheaper because they weren't as easy or they weren't as cheap to modify for actual 4x4 use, which is a large part of what they're used for here in Japan. Simply because this model went over to spring suspension, and as a result, you can't just buy a shackle kit and lift it. You have to actually buy different springs and shocks and whatnot. Solid front axle, solid rear axle, and not many vehicles are doing that anymore. Got a little bit of water dripping out of the chassis. The vehicle, and I gotta say sorry about this, it's very dirty. Have a look. We had like a typhoon-like storm this morning, and it just coated a number of the vehicles in dust. And basically, we just get the vehicles from auction. We send them over to our lot, take pictures of them, videos, send them to port, and out they go. Okay, so looking at details here, we got a fender mirror. The fender mirror on the top here has some paint cracks. It looks like it has flexed at one point. Now, the fender mirror gives you visibility for right here, to see how far you are away from things while you're rock climbing. It can be very effective. And then, of course, it has the regular mirrors as well. Land Venture. It's like, we want to get in on that Land Cruiser, Land Rover thing, but what word has not been used yet? The headlights also, a little on the faded side, and some cracks here. And the same thing goes for this one over here, but the cracks aren't as big. Probably a good idea to get those changed. Now, since this one's going to Canada, you actually can't pass Canadian compliance with these headlights. You either have to find a country that sold these cars with a left-hand drive version of the headlight, or fashion up some different type of headlights, or do what most people do and find a shop that is going to pass the compliance despite the headlights. I think this bumper is unique to the Land Venture. To the Sierra Land Venture, because it is larger, has the big intakes, has the chicken wire in it. I quite like it, actually. And then the fog lights down below, you probably saw those were on at the start of the video because fog lights are cool. Now, we are looking for more damage. The A2 on the front bumper is this. And then there's a little... No, there's not. That's just dirt. Yeah. So there's that. And on the other side over here, you get a little bit as well. No, you don't. Look at that. The car's cleaner than I thought it was. It must be in the rear bumper that I was thinking about. But yeah, for being a bumper that says A2, all I can find is that one scuff. Coming down this side, all of your side panel here, the metal part, all very good. The plastic armor has a few little nicks in it, and I think these can be polished out of the paint. Same with this one and this one. Some scuff over here, And on the trailing end of the same area, probably it brushed on both sides at the same time. Again, the metal panel here, excellent condition. The rear bumper, this is more like what you would expect an A2 to be. And then it has a scuff on the mudguard. And yes, the back hard tire mount carrier is missing. One piece. Not a big problem. Just take this back piece off. And then it looks like it was never there in the first place. Coming down here, we're looking all good on this side. This part here is just dirty. A few scratches inside here. And that goes on the other side as well. And then the mirror has a big old crack in it. What's this? Somebody's cigarette butts ended up in here. It was so windy, there's no way that these came with the vehicle, but very odd that two of them just ended up in here. Like, it was windy enough to blow trees down this morning. I'd be very surprised if those cigarettes were left in there. And a little weird that I'm touching them. I feel stupid for doing that now. The roof has a little roof carrier on it, but still cool looking and can be useful. You don't get a ton of storage space inside this. It's basically use the back seats for storage. And then it said on the auction sheet also peeling paint on the fender here. So you can see that is true. It is only this one fender and it doesn't extend onto the bumper here or onto those sections there. The underside I'd say is looking pretty good. You can see there. I didn't see any signs of there being rust or issues like that. So we are happy. We're happy campers. You can have a great camping trip in one of these. Open the back door, and it opens like the Prado does, just a one-piece door. Not a hatch. I kind of think it would be cool if it was a hatch, actually. And then we have some door damage right there. A few other minor scuffs in and around there. And then, I don't know why this came off. Okay, there's your storage space. You can buy a couple of groceries, but you can't go to Costco unless you want to fold these down. These are a little bit weird, but yeah, you clip this into the bottom, if you can do it. There we go. And then this lays down there to be your full flat loading area if you want. And the seats, I believe they do flip forward. So like the bottom of it, like a Volkswagen. Oh, I could be wrong about that. I'll check. No, I think it is just like this. And then you can slide things in and out. That's basically the only purpose of that flip piece. Put that into position. There we go. And yeah, that can just sit like that, or in the up position underneath here. I think there's like your tools and stuff. Okay, let's flip this one down, just so that we can be symmetrical. You won't be able to do that one-handed, so let's not. Let's not and say we did. Okay, into the car now. So you get a decent amount of space for the driver and the passenger. Larger people can fit into this. You're going to have a little bit of issues around the steering wheel, but I would say up to about 6'2", you're generally pretty comfortable in this. Over that, you're probably going to have a little bit of troubles. Here's me being 5'10", with longer legs than usual. I can fully move around. I can dance in here if I wanted to. And I think maybe this color here is unique to the Land Adventure version. That's the kind of thing that you would get in these special models. Door card is simple. It's tight side to side in here, because remember, it is a K car. If you are 4x4ing, having elbow room can be a little bit of an issue. As a result, this door card is fairly slender and has the power windows not side by side, but one after another. Nice big window on the front and on the rear, giving you great visibility, and a full flat side, making it very easy to park or to know where all of your corners are and whatnot. Quick look now to see the whole thing. Here's a look at those seats. It says a half leather. I honestly wouldn't be able to tell if that's real leather or not, but if it says half leather, it should be. So you get a synthetic material here, and that does look like leather there. And it looks like it needs to be cleaned. Okay, headliner's fairly clean. It has been smoked in, but not a lot. I didn't notice anything about the car when I stepped into it, but you can tell the cigarette ashtray, if you open it up, has little remnants in there of where cigarettes have been put out. Plus 2 secret cigarettes up there. Got a pretty simple gauge set there, but pretty nice looking. Headlight levelizer if you're going to use a trailer. Also windshield washer heater. Fog lights, place for coins, whatever those are. And then look, a seat heater for the driver only. I did not know you could get that in a Jimny. Easy press buttons for the 4-wheel drive, and unlike the earlier ones, it doesn't use manual locking hubs for better or for worse. For most people, that's going to be a benefit. For some people, if you want the manual locking ones, you can get conversion kits for them. Okay, the dashboard has a little section there that something used to be glued on it. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good. AC does work, has an aftermarket Clarion GCX 110 Navi screen in it. Okay, shifts well, has a cup holder here and 2 more here. Power steering is good, throttle response is good, brakes are good, all power windows work, and power folding mirrors work as well. Getting into the rear, you don't do from the driver's side because the driver's side seat isn't going to move. Only the passenger one does. That's something people will know if they've had a coupe before. It's only the passenger side that will move the seat when you actuate the lever. That's not impossible to get in. And then your leg room in the back, not the world's greatest, but not the world's worst considering the size of the vehicle. And it's probably not going to be that good, in all honesty. Okay. And yes, it looks like these have lost their elasticity over the years. And humidity, that's something I didn't notice or didn't realize would be a thing until I moved to Japan. But your elastic waistbands only last 2 or 3 years here instead of a lifetime in other countries. And I think it has to do with the humidity. Not really sure. Okay, I think we've shot enough of this car, so we're going to close it down. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to ask. You can check us out by email. There's also a link to our website in the description for the video. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.